Good morning to you. Hey, everybody. I think there's like 5 of you here, so thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. It is very much appreciated. And it is, I guess, depending on where you're at in the world, it's either Wednesday morning, noon, or night. Yeah, we're here to talk about a couple of great movies. But before that, I want to say hello to my fantastic co-host on these Blockbuster archives, Stig Kenobi. Hello, Stig. Good morning. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing quite well. And looking forward to is it the fourth one?
Fifth episode.
Fifth episode. Time flies.
Because 19,
Yeah, 80.
81, 82, 83, 84. Yeah. Fifth episode.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
I have a good one lined up for you for 85 too.
Oh, I have 2 for you to pick from because I couldn't make the decision. But I will tell you, I will give you a little bit of a hint. One of them is a Western.
Oh.
And one of them is a Richard Donner film. So you can...
Well, might be I have a Western or 2 as well. Actually, I have 2 that you can pick from. You know, in case the one I pick for you is something you hate or something, right?
There's very few. There are very few 80s Westerns that I don't like.
Yeah. Well, so, I have a sneaking suspicion we might have picked the same one.
The same one?
I guess
we'll
see.
Find out.
It starts with an S, doesn't it?
No, it doesn't. It starts with a P.
Really? Oh, that one.
Yep.
The other one. Yeah, the other one.
Hey, if we just want to make 1986 Westerns, I'm good with it.
No, it's 85.
Yeah, 85.
Well, we'll get to that at the end of the episode.
Okay. Wait, that is an 85 one, right? I could have swore it was. Yeah, it's 85. Don't do that to me, Stig.
No, you said 86.
What?
Never mind. You misspoke earlier.
Oh, did I misspeak? I am sorry.
It happens.
Look, I've been up since 4:30, so my brain maybe is just not... Maybe it's tired. I was also... Everybody, Stig scolded me last night.
I did?
To go to bed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did.
He's like, you have a stream. And I was like, yes, I know. But I was... Okay. So this has nothing to do... Well, actually, it kind of has something to do, at least with... I mean, technically both. By the way, loved Streets of Fire. But, Runaway. So, you know, the scene where right before Tom Selleck has to take off... By the way, I'm fairly certain that it's a stunt double. But right before he has to take off at a dead sprint, I was thinking about that last night as I was doing my evening workout, and I was like, I could do sprints. Guys, I do not recommend doing any amount of sprinting before you have to go to bed because your body won't fall asleep.
Yeah, it'll wake you up because you get filled with almost like adrenaline.
Yes, I was just I was ready to go, and I couldn't do... I was walking around my house. I was like, okay, I just need to sit for a minute and I'll be okay. But it didn't work. I couldn't sit still. It was a very bad plan. It was a very bad plan.
Try pouring down a couple of cups of strong coffee and then run. You can kiss your sleep goodbye.
Well, I love the way coffee smells. I don't like the way coffee tastes. I think it's dirt juice. Okay, coffee is dirt juice.
Yeah, I've never gotten the habit of drinking it. I will drink it, if it's offered, and I do have some. But it's I'm more of a tea person.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. I must not have had very good tea because tea tastes like bark juice, from a tree, tree bark juice. Or tree.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. very tedious,
But
isn't it?
well, it's just bitter. Like I don't drink anything besides like water and chocolate milk. And Ryan can shove his skim milk up his scrawny little butt. But yeah, Ryan mocks chocolate milk and apparently drinks skim. But off that note, yeah, but I woke up this morning. So it's really funny because I was like, because last night I was like, God, I'm just not like tired like I usually am. I was like, okay, so maybe some sprints will wear me down. Nope, that just like kept the engine revving at a much higher rev. I went from like 1,000 RPM to like 4,000 RPM, and it took forever to calm down.
Best way to fall asleep is to lay down and read a book.
I couldn't sit still. I legit couldn't sit still. It was bad. So I jumped into the shower and I cranked it to cold to try and just chill. And literally.
Have you tried chloroform?
Not recently. I'll not quite that desperate. I think maybe like milk of magnesia should probably be the next thing I try before I knock myself out for 13 hours on chloroform. But yeah, no, it's Lord in heaven. It's been it's been a heck of a day, heck of a night. And then I woke up this morning and I don't usually share this kind of stuff, but like a whole bunch of crap. I don't get into like my personal stuff, but between two massive car accidents where like I was right after I healed after one, I got in the other, and you just like I guess I didn't even realize, because I'd been so active for so long, like how much cardio helps you out when it comes to lean muscle and everything like that. Like I knew it was important, but I was like, oh, I can still do like weightlifting and I'll be okay. It was not okay. I fell into like depression, postpartum, all this other stuff. And I've lost about half of the weight that I gained through that whole spiral, but I still have a ways to go. But like, that's why I just, I don't know, this whole like fat acceptance movement, I'm just like, man, you're set. Like, I have never been more disappointed in myself, not even unhappy, just disappointed, because it's like, oh, the kids want to go to the park and it's like, I'm too tired. Or if we go to the park, I don't actually really play with them anymore because I'm too tired. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Even if I couldn't compete anymore and I couldn't do, certain activities that I enjoy doing that are more active, I think I would have still forgiven myself a little bit. But the fact that like my kids would look at me that way, I'd be like, oh, no.
Have you had your thyroid checked?
It's not
because if the thyroid levels are off, you'll get tired.
Yeah, it's actually, I went and got checked for diabetes and thyroid and all kinds of stuff. Depression also makes you extremely tired, and that's what they diagnosed me with.
Stress as well.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, what am I doing differently now that I was not doing 2 years ago, or that I was doing 2 years ago that I'm not doing anymore? And it was pretty easy to pinpoint, because
I know what it is. You probably weren't on Twitter 2 years ago.
Correct. That is also true. Yeah. I've also taken a massive step. And I know you, for one, can definitely attest to the fact I've been far less active on Twitter. And that has helped a crap ton.
Yeah, I've been far too active, so I'm going to step away a bit too.
It's so time consuming. Like, you look down and it's like, 10:30 in the morning, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna like check on a couple things, and then you get sucked into stupid arguments or something, and then you look up and it's 2 p.m, and you're just like, what in God's name?
The minutes add up fast.
Yeah.
And I realized I have a pile, like a ridiculous pile of old video games that I bought on sale because I'm a retro gamer, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
shit, this backlog is embarrassing. So I need to play through a few,
Yeah, I hear you.
a lot of them. So I'm gonna do that, and I've been hiking a lot, and I'm gonna go fishing eventually too, because fishing season. I mean, I live 20 minutes away from a great fishing spot,
Mm,
so why not, right?
absolutely. I love fishing. It's one of my favorite pastimes. Especially because it reminds me of when I was a kid with my grandpa, my uncles, my grandma loved to fish before so she ended up getting Parkinson's, and then some other, like, I don't know what would be worse, quite frankly, because I've got people in my family who've gotten like dementia and Alzheimer's, and so their body, like, they still have faculty over their body, but their mind's gone. And then you've got people like my grandma who had Parkinson's, and as it got worse, like, she couldn't do anything with her body, but you could tell in her eyes that, like, she was still there. So she's basically like a prisoner in her own body. I just
Yeah,
I don't know. It's crazy times we live in, but I
it
just
it could be a lot worse.
it could be a lot worse. But yeah, I think that's part of it. Like, you know, even when I don't want to do my workouts, I'm like, nope. I was like, it does not matter. Like, you need to do this. You need to get up. Like, you've committed to this. That's why I think one of the few tweets I put out was discipline is greater than motivation, because motivation is when you have the want to do something, and discipline is when you do it
I
anyway.
think I think I replied to that. I said, "Do as you're told," and then
Yeah.
motivation or something.
Yeah. Yep. But
Well, it
yeah,
worked. It worked. I told you to go to bed yesterday, and you didn't.
yes, I know. I know. But so the thing is, okay, first and foremost, I'm going to say hi to the chat. I'm going to hit this super. Mr. Grant Gregory, I love you so much. I've seen you in other chats. Thank you for being here. I have no idea what that symbol is. I'm assuming it's. Oh, is that.
It's a tornado. It's
Yeah.
blowing money at you.
40 tornado. I'll take a money tornado. Thank you so much for the super chat. Mr. Grant Gregory says, "Hey Lady G, love your content. Fan from Australia." Thank you. I'm a big fan of my Aussies. I love my Aussies. Lyndon, Lethal. Epic Mike doesn't know he's Australian, but he's gonna be. No, but yeah, I love my Aussies, and I love my Brits too, and I guess I love my Scandinavians.
As long as they're not Swedes, we will never have a problem.
There you go. I think, well, so I do actually have a Swede that's a member of my channel, and we do get along pretty well. But let's see who else is here. Outcast Creative, hi.
I would actually, if you, it's better if you hate me than like a Swede.
I'll keep that in mind. I'll try not to betray you. Subhuman, good morning. So the way you went off on Jeremy and Ryan about the prequel trilogy was pure gold. Look, I'm going to correct people when they're wrong, and they were wrong, okay? Like, nobody... All right, Stig, you and I are going to have to do a prequel stream at some point, and we'll get a couple other people as well. But, so last night was Tuesday night main event for Geeks and Gamers, and they were talking about, different stuff, and Star Wars came up, because I was like, does anybody know if... Because from what I understand, Vader has not been revealed yet in the Kenobi series.
Oh, he has.
I sat there and I was like, is James Earl Jones still voicing Vader? Because Disney hates him.
Yeah, but they like money and member berries better.
Yeah, that's true. So I was really, like, the only thing I cared about was if they managed to get James Earl Jones back, right? That was it. But then, like, they started, and Jeremy's like, I'm a staunch defender of the prequel trilogy, he's like, but he's like, Revenge of the Sith is just a different level. And I'm sorry, guys, like, I know this is not the two movies we're going to talk about, but I'm telling you right now, my favorite of the prequel trilogy is Oh, sorry. And Jeremy said he's a staunch prequel defender. If I said sequel, I'm an idiot. Sorry. It's too early. But my favorite is Attack of the Clones, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But the best one is The Phantom Menace. And I was like, first of all, the marketing for that show was fantastic. How they had Vader as Anakin's shadow.
Yeah.
Do you remember that post? Like, it
Oh,
was
yeah.
simple, it was elegant, and it was epic.
Do you know who wrote the novelization for that movie?
Uh-uh.
Terry Brooks.
Oh my god! No wonder it's
Yeah,
so good.
and he was told to flesh out the rule of two because Lucas had like a basic thing, and he didn't have time to fit it all in the movie, because it's supposed to be 2 hours long, right?
Yeah.
And he explained that way back there was one Sith that decided that there should be two Sith, and they were going to plan their revenge on the Jedi and kill them off eventually.
Yeah, that's when they said,
And,
yep.
and Terry Brooks said, so he's like the Bane of the Jedi. Why not call him Darth Bane?
Darth Bane.
And Lucas was like, yeah, that's a good name. Keep it.
Nice. Oh, Terry Brooks, underrated author. Everybody should go read all of his stuff. But yeah, so Attack of the Clones, like for Phantom Menace, I remember watching that and just between, like, the planets were so diverse. You know what I mean? You had Naboo, which was more of like a water or like a not quite a swamp world, I wouldn't say, that because Dagobah is definitely like, you can tell the difference between Dagobah and Naboo, right?
Oh yeah.
But you had Naboo, which was like this thriving, metropolis, as well as like this.
Naboo was kind of Earth-like.
Yeah, like it had oceans, it had land, all this stuff. And then of course we got to go back to Tatooine, which makes sense because we had to go find Anakin, so it would make sense that he, originated from that planet. So we got to go back to Tatooine, but we got to see more of it, and we got to see pod racing.
Pod racing is from the EU. It was called speed racing on Malfunctioning in the EU.
And you just get to, like, you just, there's the world building is just to say that Phantom Menace is bad. Like, I really do. I remember loving it, and I remember all my friends loving it, and so I have no idea where this like, oh well, everybody hated the prequels when they came. I'm like, no, they didn't. I was like, the mainstream media hated it. I remember, but this was
both Ahmed Best and George Lucas said it many times that the ones that were hating on it was the media. I mean, Ahmed Best said it flat out. The fans never bullied me. It was the media. Absolutely. And if you look back, you can see all the Jar Jar skits they did, back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. They mocked Jar Jar, but quite frankly, and I forever to this, like, if I didn't have any other reason to dislike mainstream media and network media and all that stuff, Phantom Menace would be the clutch for me, because Jar Jar was supposed to be the surprise Sith, right?
Yeah, that was one of the drafts he had.
So what, like, everybody's like, what happened to Jar Jar after Phantom Menace? It's because there was so much backlash from mainstream media, and Ahmed Best was so mistreated that and again, not by fans, by networks and by mainstream media. He was mocked, he was belittled, he was treated horribly. Like,
in the Phantom Menace, right? You have the blockade of Naboo.
Mm-hmm.
Which is basically, it's not surrounding the whole planet. It's just several points, which is the hyperspace lanes, right?
Yep.
And Kenobi and Padme have to, get through the blockade before they can jump into hyperspace.
Yep.
Every time Disney Star Wars has a ship enter hyperspace within the gravity of a planet, they destroy the whole damn saga. Because if that was possible, Kenobi and Padme and all
would have done it. Yeah,
the ship would not have been damaged. They would not have had to stop on Tatooine, and they wouldn't have found Anakin.
Yep.
And Rogue One does this when they escape Jeddah.
Mm-hmm.
And the Clone Wars does it, Rebels does it, The Mandalorian did it, and they
I
sure as
don't
hell
like.
do it.
Yeah,
And
I
they and
didn't.
they
Go ahead.
so every time someone says, "Oh yeah, it sticks to the movies," no, it doesn't. It contradicts them
Yep.
to the point where if they take place in the same universe or the same continuity, it's impossible
Yep.
because the whole Skywalker saga falls apart when you do that. Even the escape from Hoth, right? What's the
Mm-hmm.
point in that if they could have just made hyperspace jumps from
Yeah.
100 meters above the planet,
It's
or
stupid.
above the ground?
It's stupid, and it's proof that these people have no idea what they're doing. And you
Yeah,
when you're
and
like,
people cheer it on.
Does Obi-Wan even know that Anakin is Darth Vader? I'm like, what kind of stupid ass question? Like, oh, it makes
Yeah,
me. How as a showrunner are you going to
it's
admit that out loud?
it's why they fight in the first place,
Exactly. But
because
it's
Kenobi realizes he's become a Sith apprentice because he
yep,
hears Palpatine say Lord
Lord
Vader.
Vader. I just it bothers the ever loving bejesus out of me. But I I thought that if I really wished Lucas had stuck with his initial plan when it came to Jar Jar, because if he had, and hear me out on this, it would have made much more sense how like assassins were able to penetrate the security of Padme's apartments, right? Because like
Yeah.
that's not Padme's apartments, that's not common knowledge. Like clearly and it would make sense why the Gungans were not in episode 2 or episode 3 providing
Well,
support.
Palpatine would have known where her apartment is too,
Not necessarily because they had
because
just moved her. Remember, she was pissed because it was like her security.
yeah, but they were
So
friends, and he was from
true.
Naboo as well.
That is true.
You want to hear
So
something cool though? You know the
mm,
Plagueis stuff.
yeah.
Palpatine kills Plagueis during Episode 1, right after he talks to Maul on the right before he talks to Maul on the balcony. He has just killed Plagueis,
Oh.
and George Lucas helped write that book, the Plagueis novel.
Okay, that makes much more sense. Yeah, see, like there's all this stuff, and also like, look, I hated the animation for both Rebels and Clone Wars. I thought it looked horrible, but also the story was just terrible. And I'm sorry. Look, if you're telling me that Maul can come back from being sliced in half, but Qui-Gon can't get healed from being stabbed
Well,
through the chest, like we've got a
Baby
problem,
Yoda can heal. He's a toddler.
right?
So
Like
why
there's
can't Kenobi
yeah,
and
there's
and
so
Baby
much.
Yoda? Baby Yoda can also heal the dark side in people, which is like, okay, if Jedi can do that, why
Then
didn't they
what's yeah.
just heal Anakin? Right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's there's too much. Like I've not touched Mandalorian or anything Disney Star Wars. And when people are like Rogue One is the best Disney Star Wars, I'm like, dude, crap being the best pile of crap is still crap. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know.
And
But
like
we
I
could talk
said,
Star Wars for
when they enter
ever.
hyperspace within the gravity of a planet, you have a plot hole, a gigantic
Like
plot hole.
one might say a hyperspace sized hole.
Plus, they stole most of the story from the EU. They just whitewashed Jan Ors, an Asian character who
Mm-hmm.
stole the Death Star plans, and renamed her Jyn Erso.
Yep, 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 yep.
Solid work,
Sad stuff. Oy
copying the
vey.
homework.
But yeah, like just don't make it too obvious. All right, but we're moving on. Sprints in the morning, workout at night. Lord Thoth, good morning. And you are right, but also I do my cardio at night so that my metabolism stays high while I sleep. Sprints are just a bad idea at night, though. I've learned my lesson. I can't do what I used to do in my teen years.
Do push-ups and read Conan.
I hate the smell and taste of coffee. Push-ups and Conan, I can do that. Janet from another planet. Good morning, love. Exercise is meant to rev you up. Yes, that is very true. But I was still gonna give it a shot, and she loves coffee very well. Overall, 1985 was a great year. Dude, we were spoiled for choices.
Oh,
And
did you see the 1987 tweet I did yesterday? I
I will go
listed
look.
up. Yeah, I listed up. You know the most famous ones.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a few of them spawned franchises, by the way, and told people, hey, compare that to 2017, and you'll see how creatively bankrupt Hollywood is. Because in '87, you had the Lost Boys, you had the Princess Bride, you had
Yep.
RoboCop, Lethal Weapon, Predator,
Mm-hmm.
all that in one year. And then you have 2017, which is just a bunch of sequels, remakes, reboots, and stuff based on
Modern
comic, based on
reimaginations, as they like to call them. I'm like, what did you
yeah,
reimagine? You literally just took the exact same movie and you race or gender swapped characters.
yeah, and made it PG-13.
Yeah, made it PG-13 and put some cringe dialogue in there about oppression and women's choice and all this other bullcrap.
Yep.
But anyway, Duskin does not speak. Well, you're speaking now. I'm just kidding. Strong cup of tea, milk, 1 sugar. Then I am British. Good morning, Duskin. There you go. Hey, can't. Mud Crab, good morning. Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Oh, we have another super chat from Mr. Grant Gregory for 100 money tornadoes. Look at that. Thank you so much. You said Aussie the correct way. Have some schmeckles. Well, thank you. I will take your schmeckles gladly and humbly and greatly appreciated. Mud Crab, yes. Blatantly wave your Australian flag. I do love my Aussies. My Mud Crab. How are you? How are you? How are you? Willis, good morning, all. Good morning to you. Good morning. Dan Blackroyd, The Phantom Menace is the best one. That's what I'm saying. Like, my personal favorite is Attack of the Clones, but objectively, The Phantom Menace is the best out of the prequel trilogy. I think it's because if you remember, Stig, the reviews, like the critical reviews and everything for Revenge of the Sith was much better than Attack of the Clones or Phantom Menace had been. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I think, well, I have one gripe with the Phantom Menace.
Mhm.
It's kind of a big one. You know, when they go through the planet's core in the submarine,
yeah.
and they end up in the river outside the Naboo Palace. That's where that's the top of a mountain. They drove a submarine up through a mountain to get to that river. That's stupid.
Yeah, that's dumb. I don't have a defense for that one. I'm gonna have to double check and make sure that I'm not misremembering. But
because you see the ships when they take off to go attack the droid ships, right?
Yeah.
You know, one of them falls down.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long way down. That's not at sea level.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Well, I'm okay with it. I do like Liam Neeson's one line. There's always a bigger fish. I'm like, I love this guy. Before I even really understood or knew who Liam Neeson was. But yeah, exactly, Mr. Grant Gregory. Like, the critics and I think that someone, I don't know who, but I feel like someone had it out for Lucas at the time. And
They did, because he wasn't he wasn't Hollywood.
Yeah.
The Star Wars Episode 1 is actually an independent movie,
which doesn't surprise me,
because he paid for it himself from the money he earned from the EU, the novels, the comics, all that.
Yep. And I think on a couple things you probably could have reined him in and helped make a little bit tighter of a story, but I mean, right now we're just like splitting hairs. But Phantom Menace was fantastic, and yeah, the legacy and established media just were literally looking for any way to put chinks in his armor.
It has a very good shot near the end when you have it's Qui-Gon's funeral, and you have Anakin, Kenobi, Padme, and Palpatine.
Yep.
So you have Padme and Kenobi between them,
mm-hmm.
which is Palpatine's obstacles to get to Anakin, and they're also Anakin's defense against Palpatine. So very good symbolism right there.
Absolutely. Uh-huh. But again, we could talk about Star Wars forever, and we haven't even gotten to our facts yet.
Yep.
But here, let's see. Marty Art, hello. Good morning. Good morning.
Do you wish to be 1 to 10 or 11 to 20?
I want to be based. I want to be 1 to 10.
8. You get to start the facts.
Ooh, I get to do the facts first. All right. So, as you all know, with the way we start this, we used to do 5 facts each, but the conversations tend to take lives of their own. So we've dropped it to 3 facts each. And I do American, like specifically USA facts that may have impacted the world, but like happened in America more so. But I try to stay away from the global stuff because Steve does the global international news. So
Yeah. Basically, nostalgia facts from the year we're discussing.
Mm-hmm.
We're an informational stream.
You get to learn and have fun.
Yeah.
So my first fact is in May 1984, the longest game in Major League Baseball history went down. It lasted 8 hours and 6 minutes with over 25 innings, and it was spread across 2 days, and it was between the Chicago White Sox and the Milwaukee Brewers until the Brewers eventually pulled out a 7-6 win thanks to a home run from Harold Baines.
That's insane.
Yeah, 25. That's crazy. It's a 2-day baseball game. Like, woo! Oh, man. Mr. Grant Gregory, I completely understand. I will pray for you and take it easy, okay? Oh, my gosh. Legionus, I appreciate it. But yeah, so 25 innings. Like, that's ridiculous. I don't know very much about, like, cricket, but I'm pretty sure cricket doesn't take that long.
I don't know. I mostly just watched European football, English in particular, Premier League.
You mean soccer?
I mean football.
Football.
Yep.
But yeah, I can't imagine 2 days of ridiculous.
It's just like the guy who hit the final home run just collapsed. He was out of strength.
I bet.
It's the last thing he ever did. Just keeled over.
Cricket is over 5 days for a test. 5 days. I know nothing about cricket, so I'll take your word for it. But I sincerely doubt that they're playing every minute of every day. You know what I mean? Like, that just doesn't seem right. I feel like it's probably like 1 or 2 hours a day. But I don't know. I know nothing about cricket, so.
Yeah. Andrew Hoyle is agreeing with me in the chat. He's an educated fellow.
No. Oy vey. Oy vey. All right, Steve, what you got?
Well, I got a famous little bit of fact. Band-Aid, assembled by Bob Geldof, records the charity single, Do They Know It's Christmas Time, in order to raise money to help combat the famine in Ethiopia. Among the artists who contributed were Phil Collins, Bono, Bananarama, George Michael, Boy George, Sting, Duran Duran, and Paul Young. And fun thing, that single was also on a Commodore 64 game because they were on cassette tapes, right?
Uh-huh.
And I had that one, so you could listen to the song first, and then you'd have to like pause, and then put it in the Commodore 64 cassette player to load the games.
Huh.
Which was pretty bizarre, and the games on it were shit, but you know, it was for charity.
Wow. Puh. I mean, hey, you know what? That sounds better than I guess I've never been to like the charity dinners that the elites throw or have or host or whatever. But like that sounds like a far better investment and return on investment for charity than going to dinner and being preached at for 6 hours.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just me. Huh. Commodore 64. I'll be dang. My second fact is that Tetris was first released June 6th of 1984. So we just missed the anniversary by 2 days. It was designed by Alexei, I can't say the rest of the Russian properly. So Alexei Leodonovich Pajitnov, an artificial intelligence researcher, and was one of the earliest hit video games. That's why I said Commodore 64, huh? Because this is part of my fact too. Tetris was first available on Commodore 64 and IBM PC.
Yeah, and Tetris, in its simplicity, is one of the most brilliant games ever made.
Yeah. And it's still played to this day, all the way up. Like, people play it on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
So, some great, great stuff.
Yeah. Well, my second fact is it's kind of like a bad one. Well, depending on how you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
The IRA tried to assassinate Margaret Thatcher in what's called the Brighton bombing. The bomb was placed before Thatcher's arrival to the Conservative conference at the Grand Hotel in Brighton. Thatcher narrowly escaped the blast. 5 people were killed, including a Conservative member of Parliament. 31 people were injured.
Wow.
So, yeah. But,
Wow. Crazy. I hate bombs. Well, I guess we're just gonna get into the heavy stuff now. We went from Tetris and
Tetris to Bomb Man.
Bomb Man. And now we're gonna go from bombs to crack cocaine. Because my third and final fact is crack cocaine shows up in LA for the first time. And it's not good. Crack, which was a less expensive and smokable form of cocaine and easily accessible to the masses, first showed up in LA in 1984 and spread from there to major cities all throughout the US. Within a few years, it ballooned into a full-blown epidemic, keeping, this is really sad, keeping mortuaries full, occupying at least 35 to 45% of their capacity.
Yeah. Also, as a side note, prostitutes made more money than the crack dealers did.
Yep.
Because prostitutes can wash their crack and sell it again.
Oh, you're a terrible, terrible person. I love you, but you're a terrible person. But yeah, it's like I've read, I can't even, I mean, it makes sense, but 35 to 45%, and that's just like average. So I'm sure in LA it was much higher.
Yeah, it's probably way more because a lot of stuff probably weren't even registered.
Yeah. So, all right, sir, what is your final fact?
Well, my final fact is always the little cop out I do with who gets born and who dies in that year. Well, born in 1984 was Ben Shapiro, Olivia Wilde, Ashley Simpson, Katy Perry, Scarlett Johansson, and LeBron James, professional idiot. And from out of a test tube, the biomechanoid known as Mark Zuckerberg was hatched. The deaths, though, included Marvin Gaye, Andy Kaufman, Richard Burton, great actor, and Martin Luther King Sr. They all passed away in 1984. So big names passed away.
Yeah. Big names were born, too. God dang.
Yeah.
It bothers me that...
that Zuckerberg was born? Yeah, me too.
Yeah, like, it just... I don't know. Kills me a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a wee bit. But it is what it is. All right. So let me check on my donation side really quick. I do not see anything over there. All right. So since I got to go Marty, we are happy that you were born. All right, Steve, since I got to go first on facts, you get to go first on films.
Yes, this was the movie you told me to watch.
Yes.
And it's Runaway with Tom Selleck, a sci-fi crime movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I had not seen before.
I was shocked. I was shocked you haven't seen it.
Yeah, well, it's not a well-known movie. It can easily slip through the cracks, but I watched it and I liked it. Tom Selleck plays a cop whose job it is to deal with robots that don't function properly, I guess. And it's futuristic, a little bit futuristic, but not too far into the future.
It's definitely got some similar Blade Runner type vibes. We're gonna do this. There we go.
Yeah, and the gun he's holding, he never uses in the movie.
No,
it's the villain's gun. The villain is played very poorly by Gene Simmons.
I will give Gene Simmons this. He definitely played crazy very well.
He played crazy very well, but it's like you could tell that, oh yeah, he's putting on that face because he wants to seem evil. And then he kept that face for the rest of the movie. He plays I'm kind of unsure what his motivation was, but he tampers with robots to get them to kill people. And Tom Selleck has an excellent female partner.
Yes.
So it's I wouldn't say it's a buddy cop movie, but it's in the same alley.
It's definitely got similar veins.
Yeah.
I would think so. Gene Simmons, what I think, especially rewatching the movie, I feel like he was trying to go for like a Joker-esque almost approach where he's literally just psychotic. Like there is not really a bigger motivation than he is just simply insane.
Oh, and Kirstie Alley was in it.
Yes.
She was she and Tom Selleck were probably the best parts of the movie. Kirstie Alley is underrated. Simple as that. She's actually a very good actress.
She is an incredible actress. I love Kirstie Alley. I gotta say, like the chemistry going on in this film. Okay, so they work very well together. Like that cannot be denied. Like there is a lot that goes on with their scenes. They work really well together. They complement each other very well together. But like their chemistry is, I mean, Cynthia Rhodes is just like, I mean, Kirstie Alley is gorgeous too. There are beautiful women in this movie. Like truly just drop dead gorgeous babes. But I will say that they definitely had some serious chemistry.
Yeah. Fun movie, but I wouldn't say it's a classic.
No.
You know? It's if you want to watch just a pure entertainment movie on a Friday night or something, this is one you should go for. Yeah. I still think High Road to China is a better one.
Yes, I agree.
By quite a bit, I think, but yeah, I would recommend this one to people for sure, but I'm not sure if the rewatchable value is that high.
Well, maybe it's just me and Tom Selleck. I guess I might just have a thing for Tom Selleck because I could watch this movie over and over again. Like I enjoy it, but also like I love that he puts on chainmail.
Yeah, he puts on chainmail.
Like I love that. I was like, "What is this?" And then they're like, "We must go back to the old way." I mean, that's not the line, but I was like, "Dude, this is fantastic." We get a little bit of we get a little bit of fantasy thrown in here. I love it. But dude, her faces. Remember when actresses used to be expressive, and you could tell what they were thinking, and their faces matched the scene that was happening. Like, look, this is clearly, disgust and unease, and this is clearly shock. Like,
yeah,
oh my god, I can tell what she's thinking based off of her face.
She's actually acting.
Right? Like, and not just a dead plank of wood standing there. Oh man, it bothers me so much. But yeah, I've heard that this movie, like I've heard it several times, especially from my cousins. They're like, it's a movie so bad it's good. And I'm like, I just think it's good.
It's not bad. I would not say that. It's yeah, it's not one of those so bad it's good. It's
I love this scene.
I would say it's average with extra charm. Does that make sense?
Yep, that makes sense.
Oh, and for those of you watching that hasn't watched before, we always give the movies a score from 0 to 10.
To 10, yes.
And then we combine the score. So it gets like something from 0 to 20.
20. We've not given anything a 0.
Yeah.
I don't think
not even Alligator.
Yeah, not even Alligator got a 0.
Yeah. So far the lowest rated one is Alligator, because I have the statistics. The highest rated one is High Road to China, which has 0.1 points more than Conan the Barbarian, due to someone, I'm not going to mention who it was, wanting it to get a higher score.
I felt like you were grossly underscoring that film, and you know it. I'm just saying. But yes, so guys, I'm not gonna lie. Honestly, though, like the sets on here. So when you look at it, it's definitely an '80s film. I mean, freaking look at this scene right here.
Yeah.
If that's not '80s, nothing is.
It's someone said on Twitter once that it's not a proper '80s action movie unless someone's welding in it.
Yes, if there's not welding sparks in the background, it's not an '80s film.
Yeah.
Oh, good golly.
What score would you give this one, though?
I gave it. I wanted to give it a 7, but I docked it down to a 6.8. And I still I love this movie. I really, really do. But we do try to be as objective as possible here, don't we, Steve?
Yes. I actually gave it a 6.5.
Oh, there you go. See, so we're pretty close. Yeah, I gave it. I docked it the 0.2. I docked it the 0.2, just because remembering it, I was really excited because I remembered how much I loved it, and I still really, really loved it. But there's definitely some flow issues that I did not recall when I rewatched it. There's definitely some flow issues.
It's an easy trap, when you have nostalgia for something, because you have the memories of, oh, this was awesome, I remember when I watched it, and then you watch it again and it's kind of, oh yeah, it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
But let's see, 6.5 plus 6.8, what's that? That's gonna
be 13.2 13.3, sorry.
13.3. Which is 13.3 out of 20 is not bad. It's above average.
Above average.
It seems fair to me.
Yeah. I think that's reasonably fair. It's not going to be it's definitely not a Terminator or a Lethal Weapon or anything like that, but it's also it's a good movie in its own right.
Yeah, and it's actually a fairly cool concept, which is
I still maintain. Did you ever watch iRobot with Will Smith in it?
Yeah.
I feel like that movie took a lot from this one. I almost feel like that was like a remake of this.
Well, that's based on a novel, though.
I didn't know that. So there you go. Okay, we'll wipe that then. So.
Yeah. So yeah, 13.3.
Yeah,
out of a 20 for this one, which it's not at the bottom of our movies and it's not at the top.
Yeah, It's just a nice middle of the road. Like Stig said, if you Friday night you just want to watch something that's a little bit different, and still has some action and some good acting parts, and it's just like a fun watch, this would be where you want to go.
Yeah,
This
and
is a good one.
it's quite cheesy, which is.
But it's 80 cheesy, so we love
Yeah,
it.
exactly. 80s cheesy is actually good, and this is
Yeah.
better than most movies released today
By a
that
long
have
shot.
that have a 200,000% more budget.
Yep.
They actually did well with the budget they had.
Yeah,
with
let
this.
me see. I just want to check really quick. I had that number pulled up. So it grossed. This is that. I mean, guys, remember this is 1984 we're talking about. So when we, for when you adjust for inflation, this movie did really well actually because it made almost 1.2 million on its opening weekend and it grossed 6.7 million, and it had let's see, it had a budget of, I closed that window on accident. 1 second. It was a major science fiction. Yeah, I don't care. Let me see. It had a budget of 7 million. So it basically broke even.
Yeah. Well, that's actually a flop because it needs to.
Yeah.
The rule of thumb is it needs to
make 25% more.
No, 3 times to be a hit.
No, in the 80s, yeah, to be a hit, but in the 80s, you only had to make about 25% more to make up for like marketing and stuff like that.
Yeah, because the marketing costs are way higher now. But today, it's
let me see.
If it makes double the budget, it's considered, you break even.
Yep.
Basically.
So let me see. Adjusting for inflation. What year is it? 2022? Okay. So in today's value, it's gonna, hold on. We're gonna have to pull out a calculator. Y'all get to watch me math today. So in today's value, that would be $7 million. Oh, god dang it. 2.78. So it would have made, so at today's box office, and I didn't do the, oh well. And then we have to, I'm trying to follow this formula and I'm going to screw it up. But if any of you want to yell at me, by all means, go ahead. So, okay. And then it's 2.78. Prices increase 100. Oh my God, 178%. I don't even know how to math that.
Yeah, I'm shit at math, and I
think it's actually
like a 10-ton battle in the chat. There we says, go. Eat the crayons. Yes, I probably would be better off eating the crayons.
So it would have grossed about 32 million, which is not bad.
Yeah.
Yells Lady Grave Math. Why are you yelling? I see you. What is it, Legionist? I'm sorry. I got lost in math. 6.5. 6.5 what?
It's the score for the. He's giving the score.
Gotcha. Okay. Why are you yelling at me, Legionist? What did I do? I'm trying to math. Oh. Don't yell in anger. Rita! Okay. Yes, we're using the crayons for the math. Hey, math for Marines. I took it. Every Marine did. And I just did the inflation freaking whatever. My sentence structure really fell apart there. Look, okay, I was in the middle of math. You can't. Don't judge the way I speak when I'm trying to do math on the fly, might I add. I just did the inflation equation on the fly, something that I don't usually do. So
Yeah, and I'm so poor at math, I have no idea if she did it correctly or not. So I'm just gonna say, well done.
I suppose I could have just Googled. I suppose I could have just Googled what would $7 million from 1984 be worth in 2022. But this was so
Yeah,
much more fun. So,
Googling is like reading a manual. It's cheating.
um, but yeah, so it's your sentence structure. Okay, Mudcrap. Well, I know I turned into like a bumbling, babbling buffoon right there. Look, I even did alliteration to try and make up for it. But yeah, no, I was trying to math on the fly, and I am, whilst I can do math fairly well, it's actually a big part of my job. It's basic math. It's like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Sometimes we get into percentages, but it doesn't go much further than that. So, and I definitely don't have to worry about inflation. So doing that equation on the fly was that was a treat for me too. But okay, so it still beats out alligator, which, as we've
Oh
said
yeah, it
before,
beats alligator, and there's another one too. It beats alligator and it beats Dragon Slayer.
Dragon
Actually,
Slayer. Yep. So, and both of those we recommend for like a Saturday night watch anyway. So,
yeah,
guys, none of these movies that we're picking as of when we do our second round, maybe we'll just have to pick like the worst of the worst, but I don't want to do that. But none of the movies we're picking are movies that we would not recommend for you to watch. This is to give you guys something to escape to. Maybe find movies like Steve had never watched this one before, and I had never watched Streets of Fire. So we both got
you hadn't watched High Road to China either.
Yeah,
And you
hadn't watched
really
High Road to China. Yeah,
you really like that one.
I loved High Road to China. I watched it again actually. But yeah, so what the stuff that we're recommending is so you guys have something, you might be able to discover something new or remember something that you once loved, that you're rediscovering. So it's all good stuff.
We're basically offering alternatives to the shit
Yeah.
entertainment.
Yes, by a lot.
And this movie, oddly enough, got a Razzie Award. Diane Lane.
Did it? Really?
Yeah, which I thought was weird because this is not a bad movie.
It's not a bad movie. And I gotta say, I was really surprised by the score on this film. Like, the score was so good. And you've got, I mean, William, like, he's right there. Look at how young William Dafoe is. Like, holy cow. And you've got Rick Moranis is in this, and Michael Pera, and Diane Lane is in this. I'm trying to remember everybody that's in it.
Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton's in it. Yeah, like there's a ton of fantastic. Look at he looks psychotic.
Rick Moranis was excellent in it. He was actually playing a role he doesn't usually play.
Yep. He did. He was probably so. Like I always knew Rick Moranis was exposure to Rick Moranis was the Honey I Shrunk the Kid or Honey We Shrunk Ourselves series. That have you seen those, Steve?
A long time ago.
Long time ago, yeah. So that was my first like exposure to Rick Moranis. And so up until I don't even know how long, but he was always just kind of like the funny, goofy, because it was that, and then it was Ghostbusters, right? So he was always kind of the goofy, bumbling, funny guy, right?
Yeah. Geeky weirdo.
Yeah. And like to watch him this is the mark of a good actor. I didn't even it's sort of like Joe Pesci, who, by the way, whenever we do our underrated actors, Joe Pesci is one of mine. I'll just throw that out there right now.
I actually knew that, so I didn't put him on mine.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I almost put him in there, and I was like, I think
he's so underrated. But when you watch Rick Moranis in this movie, like it's not like, oh, I'm watching Rick Moranis. Like, no, you're actually like you forget that he is Rick Moranis because he did it so well. When I first watched, I thought it was Billy the Fish, and I was like, "Dang, like why did he get that nickname?"
And
And it's just Billy Fish. It's not Billy the Fish.
and Michael Paré as well is great in this one. And
Yes.
he had
Is that
a
how you say
few
his name?
yeah, Paré.
Pare? Okay, Pare. All right, yeah.
Yeah,
I've been saying Perry for a while.
he had he was in a couple of big budget movies, I guess, and then he just faded away. Just he's still acting though, but it's like straight to DVD and all kinds of stuff. And
Yeah. Huh. I I just remember like when Moranis got attacked and people were like everybody came out to staunchly defend him. They're like, dude, this man is a good man. He stepped away from acting so that he could focus on raising his kids.
because
Um
his wife
his
passed away.
wife passed away horribly. Like, guys, if you don't know Rick Moranis' story, when Stieg and I do our 5 underrated actors and 5 underrated movies of all time, we're gonna get a little bit more. If you're okay with it, Stig, we'll get more in depth on Rick Moranis's like
Yeah.
story. But holy cow, it's people like this who give you hope for the world and the fact that maybe Hollywood isn't completely a cesspool of degenerates. Like, oh man, he's just, and he blew me away in this movie, quite frankly. Like, it was so good. He did such a good job. I actually don't know which one of these I liked more, like, because I love how she's got like the dark vixen look going on here. You know what I mean? And he's got like the roguish, rugged look going on. But then like you have this like almost like a noir feel.
Oh yeah,
And
it's definitely a noir.
it's a noir film, and so I'm like, I don't know which one I like, but when you're spoiled for choice on variant covers or variant posters, guys, I'm telling you, and it is what it's literally, it's a rock and roll fable. It's so good. I was actually shocked. I was gonna ask you, do you know, were they actually like singing and playing?
No, it's a group called
Okay.
Fire Inc. that did
Okay.
this thing. She was just lip
Lip
syncing.
singing? Okay.
Yeah, but the movie is kind of weird because it seems to be set in the 50s, but some of the surroundings aren't 50s.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
It was
yeah.
have you ever seen like The Outsiders?
No idea. I don't think so.
No? Oh gosh, whenever we get to the year The Outsiders round. For me, this was kind of it was still very much its own movie, but it harkened very much to like The Outsiders, Grease, West Side Story type feel.
Yeah, it's like an action West Side Story almost.
Yeah. That would be the best way. Exactly. That's the best way I could think to describe it.
Oh, and that actor, the cop, that there is Rick Rossovich. He was in Terminator, played the boyfriend of Ginger who gets killed.
Oh.
And he's also in Navy SEALs and quite a few other productions with Michael Biehn and Bill Paxton. So they're
there you go.
They're quite often cast in the same movies.
Because they had good chemistry. Remember when Hollywood cared about that stuff?
Yeah.
Dude, William Dafoe, he just never, and of course it's a tiny one. Like, I have yet to see a film with William Dafoe. I have yet to, if you said Michael Pare, and I'm crossed my brain. But William Dafoe, I have yet to see a film with him in it. Even if I didn't like the film, his performance almost always is just freaking amazing.
Oh, and this movie is where you can really see that he would have been a great Joker.
Oh yes, absolutely. He kids about that to this day. Like, he still gets told he could make an excellent Joker.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree. Like, I think he would do a fantastic Joker. His range in this movie is amazing. Like, I don't mean vocal range, folks. I mean, everybody knows that William Dafoe has got acting range, but like in this movie, he like, I don't know how to.
He goes from calm to psycho within half a second.
Yeah. Like, it's like he flips a switch and it's almost instantaneous. And you're just like, dang. It's amazing. And then you get this there's a lot of grit in this movie too. Which, makes sense because it's a rock and roll fable. But
yeah, and the lady who the former soldier that teams up with Michael Paré is a lesbian, I believe.
Yep. Look at that.
Representation.
Progressive before it was a thing.
And she was a great character.
Yeah. And she didn't see it. Like, look at that. Oh my God. But yeah, no, and it wasn't like she wasn't like preaching at you every 5 seconds to remind you she was a lesbian.
Yeah, she just was telling him, yeah, you're not my type. And he liked her a lot too.
Mm-hmm. It's good stuff. I don't know. Yeah, overall, I was pleasantly surprised with this movie. It was
the soundtrack alone,
yes,
gives it a few points, I think.
Yeah. It's really good. It is definitely like an action West Side Story kind, and you get sprinkles of like Grease and The Outsiders in there as well. And it's just this was a really, really good film. I was pleasantly surprised at just how much I enjoyed myself. But dude, see, look at that. She actually has emotion on her face.
Oh yeah, and she plays Michael Paré's sister, and they look like they're siblings.
Yep.
Good casting.
It was fantastic casting, and again, like the dynamics and the built-in drama, like this whole movie was, I don't know what exactly I was expecting, but it exceeded any expectation that I had of it. So that's always an excellent thing when you can walk away satisfied from a film. But yeah, so what did you give this?
A 7.5.
I did too. We're pretty close today. We're bang on this one.
Yeah, just 3 away on the other one. Oh, or 0.3.
0.3 away on the other one. Oh gosh,
so that's a 15.
That is a 15. So it's guys, it's definitely a good way to spend an evening on the couch for sure.
It's actually in 4th place.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, it's behind High Road to China, Conan, and Das Boot.
Das Boot. Which are all fantastic. Like, guys, again, if you've not seen the rest of the Blockbuster archives, I do suggest you go. Like, I've got a playlist of them, so you can watch every single one. And it's, guys, like, honestly, I've not been. Well, there's clearly, winners and not necessarily like losers. I don't think we've picked any losers. But there's definitely ones that we prefer and ones that aren't as strong as the others, is how I'll phrase that.
Yeah, but the entertainment value is still high.
It's still very much there.
We can't objectively say that Alligator is a 9 out of 10.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. And so, like I said, guys, we try really hard to remain objective when we do these, so that it's fair, so that you don't go in. Because first of all, I would expect you guys to quit watching my channel, and if Stieg ever, did stuff, to stop watching his as well. If we told you that Alligator was a 10 out of 10, you know what I mean? Like, I would fully expect backlash, and for you guys to stop trusting my opinion.
I probably would say that, make a video on my channel and say that just to mess with people.
But we're not going to do that here. We're going to remain.
one of my most viewed videos is me putting a figure of the Hulk
Uh-huh.
in an empty beer glass, and I'm pouring water into the glass, and
Huh.
I put in the title that this is a Marvel reference that only true fans will get, and there's no reference. It's just bullshit. But people in the comments were like, I rewatched all the Marvel movies. I don't get it. Please tell me. And I'm like, shit, it wasn't supposed to happen like that. But yeah, it's just the Hulk in a glass.
Just Hulk in a
There's no
glass.
there's no reference.
He's being confined by his emotions.
Yep.
Okay, let me check. I don't see anything on the donation side. I just want to make sure before we do our pick for next time and do our outros, because unfortunately I have to go to my day job.
Yep. Well,
So
which movie do you have for me for 85?
85. So you get the choice of two. You can have Pale Rider, which is, I did not know, like, it shouldn't have surprised me. But of course, anybody that doesn't know, Clint Eastwood is, he not only was the lead, he was the star in it, and you get Michael Moriarty in there as well, and I think Sidney Penny's in it. If I'm,
And
it's been
Richard Keel plays Jaws. And
yes, yep.
he's
It's been
in it.
it's been a little while since I've watched it. Probably about a year or two since I've watched it. But Pale Rider is the first one, and it's actually directed by Clint Eastwood as well. I know that much. And the other one is the Richard Donner film Lady Hawk. Have you ever
Which
heard
I
of
have on Blu-ray, actually.
You have Lady Hawk on Blu-ray.
Yes,
Look
I
at you.
do.
So, would you like to do a Western, or would you like to do, I mean, basically, it's just a medieval romp, quite frankly. Like, it's pure medieval fantasy.
With synth music.
Yeah, like,
You know what? I can't decide, so I'm gonna roll.
ooh,
I'm gonna roll a
okay.
dice.
So 1
If
through
it's
10.
no, I'm rolling a
Okay.
d6 this time. 1 to
Oh,
3 is Pale Rider. 4 through 6 is Lady Hawk.
sounds good.
5, Lady Hawk.
Lady Hawk it is. All right.
Yep. And well, we're gonna get a Western anyway, I think, because my pick for you is Silverado.
Woo! I'm there. I love it. Yes, I've seen it, of course. Guys, I don't think you understand. And Steve, I think we've had this conversation on Twitter. Westerns are my weakness. Like, that's my happy place. Like, I love action films. I love fantasy films. I love action fantasy. I love sci-fi. But like, if you want to make me happy, we watch Westerns. That is my happy place. I love Silverado. I even enjoy Maverick. Like,
Mavericks. I watched that one in the cinema.
Yeah,
it came out. Yeah, it's fun.
I absolutely, I love Westerns, and Maverick is such a good time.
Did you ever watch The Long Riders?
Yes.
That one is pretty damn brutal. It's like a Tarantino movie.
Yeah, I was 8.5, and my grandpa put it on. And he's like, because I was watching Fistful of Dollars, and he came in, and he's like, I got something for you. And he put on The Long Riders. And my grandfather is a huge John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, Manly Man fan. So are my uncles. I think that's probably where I get it from. My dad. So
you know who's done the
with
most Western movies? Who has the record?
Who has the record? Not Clint Eastwood. I know that, even though he's up there.
It's Terrence Hill.
Yes, I love Terrence Hill. My Name is Trinity. They call me Trinity. I love the Trinity series. Like, freaking fantastic.
Terrence Hill and Bud Spencer movies are great.
They are amazing. Oh, I love it. Yes, Dan Blackroyd. Lightning Jack is amazing. I love Lightning Jack. Maverick was awesome. Everybody's like, "Oh, Maverick is like a silly film." I'm like, we watching the same show because I'm enjoying myself, and it's all like, it's so
Well, just because it's a western doesn't mean it can't be silly as well.
Yeah, like I'm like I was just like, God dang, like yeah, I hate how people are like, well, if it's a western, it's gotta like, it's it's like bandits and damsel in distress and a gunfight and that's it. And I'm like, psh, no, no, it is not. That is not westerns. I mean, those happen in westerns, but y'all need to broaden your perspectives by a lot. I don't know why. I don't know why the train robbery, and I get that those happened, but like, yes, Firefly counts too, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, they're smuggling cattle.
Yeah, come on now. But yeah, like I I don't hate the train robbery trope in westerns, but it feels like that's all anyone ever thinks when they think western. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So, you know what, Legionist, Cowboys and Aliens, I didn't hate that movie. I'm gonna be perfectly honest.
I didn't like the look of the aliens, but the rest was good.
Yeah, didn't care. I didn't really care for the aesthetic when it came to the aliens, but I thought that movie was actually bang on. Um, I thought Olivia Wilde actually did a really good job, but unfortunately, like I don't know if it's just because I'm bitter towards his treatment of James Bond, but I don't know. It like if there had been a different lead, I wouldn't have been terribly upset. I'm gonna be perfectly honest.
Yeah,
But westerns, I love it because you have scoundrels, you have honorable men, you have reluctant heroes, um you have strong masculine men, you have capable women. Like it's a thing too, like when people are just like, oh, there's nothing but prostitutes and damsels in distresses in westerns, and I'm like, have, what? Like I'm
yeah,
so confused why you would say that because you've clearly never actually watched westerns where like you'll have barmaids who know how to who they can literally they can handle two six shooters at the same time. People think that that's like easy or just common. It really wasn't. Like that's why Doc Holliday was such a big thing because he was a good shot whether it was left or right. You know what I mean? Like it's just so you had women entrepreneurs, you had women business owners in the Wild West, you had women who took care of themselves, um, they were good shots. They would hunt their own food sometimes, especially if like their husbands died. They'd handle the farm or they'd handle the ranch. They'd take care of the kids. It's just freaking I'm telling you, westerns are where it's at. You have rivalries, true love, love triangles if you're into that stuff, but the love triangle isn't like both men are in love with her for no reason. It's like one guy wants her because of her land. He wants his land so he can like put a railroad through it or so he can drive his cattle through it and basically destroy her farm or whatever. Doesn't really care about her, but wants the land where it's at, whether it's location or fertility or whatever it is, right? And then she goes looking for help and it's it's the drunken sheriff who hasn't had to do anything for a long time in such a quiet town, or it's the deputy who isn't on the bad guy's payroll that she goes to for help, and he puts everything on the line for her because he's an honorable man. It's not actually because he's got any type of feelings to her in the beginning. It's because that is just who he is as a person, and he swore an oath to the badge and he takes that oath seriously. And so he's not getting kickbacks from the bad guy. He's not in his pocket. And then they eventually end up, but terrified she is, and he just wants to instinctually protect her. And then she falls in love with him because she realizes his rough edges are just a part of who he is. And once you get to know him, he's actually like considerate and capable and honorable, and you see all of these dynamics unfold. It's just I don't know why people think westerns are boring. It confuses the ever-loving bejesus out of me. So there's my rant about westerns. We've covered a lot today.
oh yeah, Star Wars westerns, musical things.
Rock and roll ballads. It's good stuff. Well, I have to jet off. I'm actually supposed to be at work in 2 minutes. I don't know. I will. I'll just I'll just jump in my ship and I'll hyperdrive over there. Heedless of gravity. I will do Star Wars one better. I will hyper jump on the planet to another point on the planet. Ha!
Mm-hmm.
Take that, Disney. I beat you. No, I'm just kidding. But so I am really looking forward to our Fiverr stream, and we'll have to figure out when that'll be. But just to wrap up, so for this month we had Runaway, which got 13.3, and we had Streets of Fire, which got an even 15.
Yeah.
So both really good. And then next month, if you guys want to watch it, so you know what we're talking about, we've got Lady Hawk and Silverado. So excited. Love it.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great. But Steve, you got any parting words or anything? Where can they find you? Where can they
On Teresa's channel, Miss Martin Muses, on Saturday for the Silmarillion
Yes.
thing. We're getting closer to the end now because we did Baron and Luthien last time.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're doing the next 2 chapters, which I need to catch up on. So we're there's like 100 pages left, I think, after this, because the last fourth of the book or something is basically appendices and family trees and all that, which we probably won't be covering.
That's kind of.
And then we will be moving on to the Sword of Shannara.
Yes.
And I think we'll be doing like a few chapters each time for that one too.
Oh God,
we're basically moving away from Tolkien and then on to other fantasy books to introduce people to alternative entertainment.
Give you something worth reading, worth watching, worth listening to.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and being part of this. It's what, 3:30 for you? 2:30 for you?
2:30.
2:30. All right. Well, you have yourself a good afternoon. I am off to the grindstone, folks. I got to go put in about a 10.5-hour day. So I really hope you all enjoy yourselves. And guys, I wanted to, my freaking genuine love and appreciation for you guys is, I wish I could find words for it. Because I mean, you in the chat make this worth it, and we do this for you, and I'm just so glad that this has been so well received. You guys seem to be really enjoying it. I always get great responses. I don't know about Stieg, but people come into like my DMs or they'll email me and they'll be like, I love the Blockbuster archives. Like I had no idea that Tetris came out in 85, or I mean, like that email or whatever hasn't been sent, but just like, it's usually like I get a lot of comments on the facts, especially Stieg's born and died ones. So you guys seem to be really, really enjoying this stuff. Some of you, like, I got a couple emails about Alligator, and they were like, it was weird, but it wasn't bad. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Like, it wasn't a bad show. It's definitely not Jaws by any means, but it's a good one. And so to get that kind of feedback from you guys means a lot, because it lets us know that we're going in the right direction. But also, it makes me even that much more appreciative of what you guys do, and just being here and supporting that means the world to me. So I'm genuinely grateful. Thank you so very, very much. And I think I'm just gonna leave it there. Much love, God bless, and Godspeed, everyone.
Take care, very well.